Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin, and we want to go back to some normalcy with, we've got the Car Pro Jerry Reynolds on the line. Jerry, I might even, if it's okay with you, I might keep you over another segment, and we can talk about both of the cars that you drove kind of in between. We just got a lot going on right now, and I think it's great to talk to somebody who's calm and talk about something that's normal and everybody does every day.
Well, Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
I missed talking to you guys for the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I've been busy, even through the holidays. I had the Cadillac Escalade, I think, last time we talked, and then I spent a week with the Chrysler Pacifica Minivan. They've got a new version out, which is a kind of a top-of-the-line version. But this week, I really enjoyed being in the 2021 Chevy Trailblazer. This is a subcompact SUV. Of course, it's an SUV, right? It falls between the Chevy Trax, which is their smallest one, and the Chevy Equinox. And, at a glance, you think, why did they need another SUV in between those two? But the truth is, it really is kind of right in the middle. So if you don't need the Trax, which is very, very small, Equinox has gotten bigger through the last few years as they've restyled it. This kind of fits right in the middle. It's a 5-passenger. Believe it or not, it is a 3-cylinder. And believe it or not, it has plenty of power. I was shocked. I got to admit, I was kind of dreading a 1.3-liter 3-cylinder engine, but this thing performs well, and it's surprising, over 30 miles to the gallon out on the highway. Plenty roomy inside you could put 5 people in it, but really you'd be more comfortable with 4 adults. But good cargo area in the back. It's a good-looking vehicle. Got pretty 18-inch wheels, 2-tone paint. The body itself is red. It's got a black top and black matching wheels. We'll have the review up at Car Pro USA on Monday, but pretty impressive. It comes in just a hair over $30,000, but that's before discounts and rebates. And of course,
so it's fairly affordable.
I'm sorry?
It's fairly affordable.
Yeah, it is. It really is. This thing is the top of the line. It's the RS model, which stands for Rally Sport. RS has been around with Chevrolet for a lot of years. And it is affordable with the rebates that are already out there on a 2021 and the discount. This thing could be bought for $27,000, $28,000, which today is very reasonable for any kind of SUV.
Yeah. I mean, it is a nice-looking SUV. I try to compare it. Is the Equinox the one that's about the size of the Ford Edge?
Yes.
Because I drove a Ford Edge for a long time. It helps me kind of. Equinox
sort of, as it's grown through the years, it's actually probably a little bit longer than the Edge. It's they don't classify it as a mid-size SUV, but I'm going to tell you, when you put it up against, others out there, the Equinox is, in my opinion, a true mid-size SUV, and I've always enjoyed it a lot. I recommend the Equinox all the time, especially for somebody that wants good gas mileage but doesn't want to break the bank, but needs a little more cargo area than, say, what this Trailblazer offers.
So are they still offering the standard Blazer now?
Yeah, the regular Blazer is above this. It's a different kind of SUV than what we're talking about here, and I had the Blazer last year and enjoyed it. It's more of a sport version SUV. But you look at the lineups, Matt, of all these car companies and how they just keep finding slots to put new SUVs in there because of the craze that's going on, and it's very interesting. Yeah. I think one of the reasons that you're going to see that the Mustang Mach-E, the Mustang quote unquote sport utility, is strictly because they wanted another sport utility. Ford got out of the car business other than Mustang. So it's just every automaker is scrambling to bring new SUVs to the market. I mean, at some point, we're going to hit that saturation point.
Yeah. Well, when that saturation point hits, I guess you can get some good vehicles for less money.
Absolutely. They'll switch back to cars. We'll go back to sedans. I mean, cars are like clothes. The styles come and go. Right now the SUVs are hot, but it won't be that way forever.
Okay. Well, so tell us a little bit about the minivan that you were in, the Pacifica.
Yeah, they decided to go with an upscale model. This was the Pacifica Pinnacle. And boy, you talk about an amazing interior. That review and video. I'm sorry, I didn't do a video. That review with a lot of pictures is up at Car Pro USA. Spectacular interior. Never seen anything like it, particularly coming out of Fiat Chrysler. They did a super job with this thing. It's going to compete really well with Honda Odyssey and Toyota Sienna, its main two competitors. But neat features in it. It was super loaded. Had cool things like the rear captain's chairs, the second row seating had, and this sounds crazy, but it somehow it just worked. It had lumbar support pillows that were not attached to the seats. I mean, it was just like being in your living room and putting a pillow behind your back, except it matched the interior. And Chrysler does a great job with the stow-and-go seating, so you can turn this thing from a minivan into a cargo van very simply. All the seats fold into the floor. Had a 3.6-liter V6 that performed extremely well, got decent gas mileage, but they redid the body, and it's not as minivan-ish as it was. This is one, and I said it in the review, guys, I know you don't like driving minivans, but suck it up. This one's okay. And it is. It was a good-looking rig. I got a lot of compliments on it all week long.
Well, I'll tell you, I me and my wife for a long time drove the Toyota Sienna, and so and we still have that vehicle because it just drives so well.
Oh yeah.
And so I suck it up, but ours was the limited version, so it had all the leather seats and everything. It was nice.
Yeah,
and you can't complain too much.
You had nothing to be ashamed of.
No, but now we drive a Ford Expedition, and I feel a little more manly driving that around, I guess. But
well, yeah.
With 4 kids, even a minivan seems to get small.
I know.
So,
but it's just so easy to get them in and out.
Yeah.
That's the thing with those big sliding doors. You don't have to worry about parking close to a car next to you and that sort of thing with kids trying to get them out of car seats and stuff. There's a market for them. And for those who need them, they're great.
So, Jerry, can you stay over for one more segment and talk to us a little bit about puffing?
I can stay over for portions of one. I've got another interview in about 6 or 7 minutes.
Why don't we just extend this one a little longer?
Yeah.
Connor said I can do that. I'm looking at him nodding at me. So I'm looking over at your news section. Can you tell me a little bit about puffing? What is that?
Puffing is when you start your car and leave the keys in it. It's becoming a real problem. Thieves have figured out quickly that, watch for that. Watch for people pulling up to the 7-Eleven and just thinking they're going to run in, or you pull up to a gas pump and you run inside for one reason or another. Sometimes it's to pay. Thieves have figured this out, and they are really watching for that. And they jump in your car and are gone in a matter of seconds. They're staking places out.
So they're watching the tailpipe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's easy. It's in the wintertime, particularly. It's easy to tell. When if they're watching, you get out of your car and you leave it running, keys in it, then there's a good chance that somebody could jump into it and head out. And so they're saying it's just not a good idea. Don't do it unless you've got keyless remote start. So you can actually start your car and leave it locked. It's not a good idea. And even then, they don't recommend it because somebody can break a window out and go.
Well, and I'll tell you, thieves are bold. My wife had her purse stolen while she was pumping the gas by the thief crawled under the car and opened the passenger side door by crawling up and staying down, stole her purse, closed the door, and then crawled under the car to get out. I mean, it was just an absolute ridiculous thing. And luckily, some people saw it and started yelling, and the thief ended up running. but they ended up catching everything later. But man, it's absolutely ridiculous what these thieves will do to.
Oh yeah, it is, and that's one of the reasons that I've been a proponent and actually tried to get this into NHTSA law that gas filler tanks should all be on the driver's side.
Yeah.
And I petitioned NHTSA on this about 5 years ago, and that was all for the women, just so they could be closer to having to get in their car if they needed to, rather than come all the way around it if it's on the right-hand side. And in fact, if you look at every single one of my reviews, I tell you which side the gas cap is on.
Yeah, just so that people know.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What else do you have on the news section out there at carprousa.com?
We got the 2020 sales results in this year for the entire year of 2020 just this week, and we got those up. I've got the top 25 best-selling SUVs for the fourth quarter. I haven't got the yearly number yet because Mercedes-Benz has not reported, and no surprise, white is the most popular car color once again. And next week, get ready. I've got the Mustang Mach-E all-electric SUV.
It'll be good to hear about. I mean, I'm not a fan of the way it looks, but you never know. It might be a good car.
I'm looking at performance.
Yeah.
The 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds has got to be lightning fast.
That's pretty impressive. All right. Yes. Thank you so much for coming. I actually liked, they had a prototype of I think a race version of it that looked kind of nice. But,
yeah. Well, electrics are coming. We better get ready for it, and this will be a good step for me to prepare myself.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jerry, for being on. You're on from 11 to 1 this Saturday, and also your website's carprousa.com. Thank you so much for coming on. Car Pro Jerry Reynolds.
Good to talk to you guys.
It's good to talk to you, too. We'll be right back on News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO.